My guest tonight is a global superstar. She put Australia on the map long before Paul Hogan put a shrimp on the Barbie. And if you grew up in the 80s, you probably had a poster of her on your wall. She's one of the world's best-selling recording artists and officially sanctioned as a national living treasure. Olivia Newton John, thank you so much for your time.
Oh, you're welcome. Nice to be here.
Now, you're about to turn 70.
Yes.
I am 40. What will I know about myself at 70 that I don't know now?
Probably a lot.
Yeah?
I mean, it changes every decade, I think. You learn more, not only about yourself, but about everybody else and about the world and your perceptions. And I think it gets better, actually.
It gets better? Do you feel wiser over the journey?
Yeah. Yeah, I think it gets... I mean, nothing's a big shock anymore because you've probably lived it before, or you've experienced it before, and I think it's... I'm enjoying it. I am. I'm enjoying the journey and just very grateful to be here, really.
Mm. Now, reading your wonderful book, Don't Stop Believing,
Thank you.
You reveal in there that you've had not 2 but 3 cancer diagnoses. I'm wondering, how do you stay positive through all of that?
Well, it's my nature, and it's also a decision. I think you need to make a decision in life, how you're going to handle situations. And I have my moments, I'm human, but basically I think I'm a pretty positive person.
You're still going, you're still here. How much of that do you put down to traditional medicine and how much do you put down to more natural remedies?
Well, the first time in '92, I did chemotherapy and surgery. The one 5 years ago, I did some radiation. And this time, I'm just using natural therapies at the moment, so.
And you also, I was reading, you also use medicinal marijuana.
Yes.
What does it do for you?
It's helped me a lot with pain and with sleep, anxiety. Cannabis is a much maligned plant. I'm very lucky. I'm married to a plant medicine man who's been working with plants for like 40 years and has incredible knowledge of them. And I've learned a lot from him. And he makes me tinctures of plants that he grows. So they're organic. They're specific strains for pain and stress. And, you know, you read every day about people dying from opiates and opiate overdoses, and nobody has died from cannabis. I mean, it's a natural plant, it's a healing plant, and I think there's so much we don't know about it and we're learning. There's thousands of studies, people can educate themselves. But I think the whole 60s and 70s view of cannabis was just, you know, getting high. But there's a lot more to it than that.
Yeah, I used a lot of preventative medical marijuana at university, which was probably more the 60s and 70s version.
Yes.
So using it as a medicine, it doesn't affect you the same way as a drug? I guess, how does it affect
side
you?
effects?
Yeah, I guess so.
Well, it depends what you're using. You know, if you're using just straight CBD, generally nothing. If you use a little bit of THC, which usually is more beneficial for pain, you can have some tiredness or sleepiness or whatever. But I usually plan it so I'm going to bed, so it's okay.
It's funny, in Australia, it's legal now, but it's still extremely hard to get, and it's a very new idea.
It's very hard.
What do you think it's going to take for Australia to become more accepting of it?
I think it's happening. I think doctors are being educated. In fact, my husband was here talking to doctors and helping educate them on how to prescribe for patients, because a lot of them haven't been brought up with this model. They only know prescription drugs and opiates, and so they're not familiar with how it works. So education, of course, is important, and people can self-educate themselves. In America, most states, you can grow your own or you can buy it legally. And it's just been a blessing in my life, and I think there's so much to be learnt. They're doing studies in Israel with cannabis and MS, with epilepsy, of course. It's shown incredible help with children, people with colitis, all kinds of problems. It's proving to be a wonderful healer.
Reading your book as well, learning about your family was quite incredible. And Martin Luther, the founder of Lutheranism from the Reformation, was a distant relative of your mother. Your grandfather won the Nobel Prize for Physics, and your father worked on the Enigma project.
Yes.
How did that family feel when you wanted to take up showbiz?
Not too thrilled. My sister had left school at 15 and became an actress. So the idea was kind of planted in their heads, even though I don't think they were too thrilled about it. They wanted me to finish school at least, and I did not want to because I was offered a job on television on Time for Terry, and I was 15 and so excited. I'd already been on The Happy Show. I don't know if you remember that. You probably weren't even alive. But anyway, I'd had a taste of it, and then I was offered a job. at a really young age, and I kind of fought with my mother to get to leave school. And my high school teacher, Mr. Hogan, probably was the man with the best advice, because I went to him and said, you know, I have one more year of school. I was doing my leaving, and matric was next, and he said, if you're going to be focused on music or singing and you not focused on the school year, it's not going to happen. So I suggest you follow your passion. And that was like the best advice I ever got.
Well, it turned out to be great advice. Your career after that was incredible. Grease turns 40 this year.
Yes.
When was the last time you watched it?
About 3 weeks ago.
Oh, really?
Because we had the 40th anniversary screening at the American Film Institute. I think I've got that right. And so John Travolta, myself, Dee Dee Conn, Barry Pearl, and Randall Kleiser, the director, we all kind of gave a little talk before the movie, and then they screened it for about 1,500 people. It was so much fun, because to see it on a big screen again and to be kind of detached at this time, so far away from it, I really enjoyed it, and I saw all kinds of things that I hadn't noticed, or I was so busy being worried about what I'd done. You know?
And when was the last time you saw Grease 2?
Don't remember that one.
Yeah, no, it's probably advisable.
Long time ago.
Now, is it true that your husband had not seen Grease and John Travolta forced him to watch it?
Yes. We didn't force him to watch it, but John Travolta invited, my husband's name is John too, John also. So we went to dinner at his house, and John in Florida has a compound with a runway and where his planes are. And my husband's a pilot, so he loves planes. So John said, why don't you come on the plane, we'll have dessert on the plane. And when we got on the plane, he had Grease running on the screens.
Oh, wow.
So he got to watch it with me and John Travolta. It was quite amazing.
That is incredible.
Yeah.
Did you realise at the time what an ambassador you were for Australia?
I don't know. I always felt I was an ambassador for Australia because I always loved my country, and so I was thrilled when I was able to keep my accent for the movie because I couldn't do an American one, basically.
You're a fake and a phony, and I wish I'd never laid eyes on you.
Whoa.
I brought some class to the movie.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Although, is there a reason why Sandy never said things like Ken Oath or, you know, don't come the raw prawn with me or flamin' heck you mongrel? Could there not have been a bit more Aussie in Sandy?
I know, we should have put that in.
You're making fun of me, Riz? Some people are so touchy.
Another iconic moment of your career was the film clip for Physical.
Yeah.
And at the time that was viewed as controversial. Do you watch pop video clips now and just, does it blow your mind what they get away with today?
Yeah, I always say, compared to what's on the radio now, this is like a lullaby, this song, you know? But at the time, it was risque, and I remember I recorded the song, so I liked the song. I thought it was a really great song. And then I had a panic attack right after and went to my manager and said, I've gone too far. I think we need to pull the record. It's all wrong. I've gone too far. He says, too late. It's at radio and it's climbing the charts really fast. I said, okay, well then maybe we need to do a video and make it about exercise. And that's really how that whole thing was born.
Let's get physical, physical. I wanna get physical. Let's get into physical.
You've been famous for almost your entire life, since you were a teenager. Do you feel that fame has been a force for good in your life?
Definitely. I mean, I think things come with fame, lack of privacy, and I'm a pretty private person, so I think I'm very lucky I was born was working in the era before social media. I didn't have to deal with what a lot of the young people have to deal with now, just being hounded, and everyone's talking about everything you do and everything you say. So I think I was very lucky that way. But I think that I've had an amazing, blessed life. So I have nothing to complain about.
Has it also been hard, though, with challenges that you've had over time for them to not be private, for them to actually be public?
Yeah, that can be difficult. But like with my first time with breast cancer, I chose to talk about it because it was going to become one of those social media, you know, making it worse than it is deals. So you have to try and choose your moments, what you want to talk about and what you don't want to talk about. Usually it's to thwart the nasty gossip by just being honest and talking about it.
And looking back, you played just some enormous stages and some enormous gigs over the years. Is there one that stands out? Is there a show or a time performing live that you close your eyes and you're still there?
Yeah, the one that always comes up first is singing at the Sydney Olympics with John Farnham. Well, I was very proud to represent Australia, and then to sing with him, who's like my favourite singer, was perfect.
I imagine it took no convincing on either side of that, of that equation.
Well, I don't know about him, but not for me. Yeah.
Will you keep performing live?
Yes, I think, but not forever. I see an end in sight.
Do you look forward to that?
I do now. I took a big break right now, and I've really enjoyed just being a person, being at home with my animals and seeing my friends and not having a schedule. I've really enjoyed it, and so I can see a time where I'll just be able to focus on my hospital and the things I'm passionate about outside of my career that are still really important to me. So I see that. I think I have one more rah-rah in me, and then that might be it.
You've met so many famous people throughout your career, so I'm going to get you to play a little fame game.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Doesn't mean I have a good memory, though.
Well, no, these are easy questions. Other than yourself, obviously, who is your favourite Aussie icon, Nicole Kidman or Keith Urban?
Oh, gosh, Keith Urban.
Keith Urban.
He was my friend before I met Nicole.
Oh, really?
I knew Keith years ago. I was in the south of France at a songwriting retreat, and he was there, so we got to write a song together, and I knew him before he was Keith Urban.
Oh, wow.
And he's a lovely guy, yeah.
And also you got to spend a week in a castle in France and it was a tax write-off.
Yeah.
It's brilliant. It's perfect.
It was great, yeah.
OK, next question. Who is your favourite Queen, Her Royal Highness Queen Elizabeth or RuPaul?
Oh, that's a hard one. I love Ru. I did his show. That would be a tie.
That is a tie.
Yeah, because I love the Queen. I admire her.
And who's your favourite religious figure, Pope John Paul II, who you've met,
Yes.
or Santa?
No, Santa, of course, no. No, it was a real honour to meet the Pope. I mean, that was incredible.
I bet he went back to the Vatican and said, "You're not going to believe this. I met Olivia Newton John. How lucky am I?" He would have been, "Thank you, God, I met Olivia Newton John."
I'm not sure he knew who I was at all. That's okay.
Olivia Newton John, thank you so much for your time.
Thank you. It was lovely meeting you.